Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I believe we are making part 10 of the modular environment creation series in Blender and Substance. And so in the last video, I made the glass material. And in order to actually see what it looked like with the actual shaders in Unity, I decided to put together everything we've made so far in the series into the scene in Unity. And if we take a look at the glass, you can see it looks pretty good, and it's opaque in the areas we want it to be, where this mesh is, but not anywhere else, and it's nice. There's a lot of roughness variation and some glossy detail. You can see the scratches in there and a little bit of the normals as well. So I'll just, I guess I placed the ceiling wrong. Yeah, it just needs a little bit more ceiling there. And we don't even need that one. Alright, yeah, so I'll just play it out really quick so we can just take a better look at the scene. Alright, cool. So I left this whole 4x8 section here untouched because I want to put in a door, and it's going to be a pretty big door, and also I'm going to make a bigger column to sort of end the door on either side. So I'll delete these ones and we'll put in a bigger one. And also I've been thinking about making some ceiling elements to make the ceiling look a little bit nicer. And then once that's all done, we'll make some of the props and the some of the game elements, so some of the interactable objects and things like that will go into this room. So yeah, so that is what I have been doing. So I just put the scene together in HDRP, put in some point lights and reflection probes and things of that sort. So now it's time to design the column. And I put together this in Blender as well, so it's a little bit of a representation of what we have with the door situation. And I'm going to delete these columns because we're going to make new ones specifically for that. And this is going to be the ceiling beam. I just blocked that out really quickly. And this is the player reference, of course, and I dropped in some of the base color maps that we had. So if I render this, it looks sort of like the Unity scene. Obviously not as nice, but you get the idea. Alright, so I'll fix the transforms here. Scale at 0.5. What is the scale of this one? The dimensions are 1 here. Okay. So we'll make that the same. So I'm going to drag this into its proper spot. So 1.5. And I'll put in the 3D cursor at its correct position. So 2, 0. Set the origin. And I'll put in a quick edge loop. Mark seams, and delete that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And at this point, I'm still not sure what a lot of the design is going to look like, but I have just a little bit of an idea. So I'm going to start with putting the face weight normals on this. So I'll turn on auto smooth in the normals tab, and also put on the face weight normals modifier with a weight of 100, and turn on face influence as well. I'll delete any faces that will be unseen. I will call this column And what is this? Okay, so I made that just as a little test, but we don't need it anymore, so I'll go ahead and delete that. And door column, I can delete that. Okay, so this is what we actually want. I'm going to duplicate it just to be safe. And let's put a bevel right here. Something like that. All right, looks pretty good. And I'm actually going to scale it in just a little bit. All right, and I will make this the entire 4 units tall. And at this point, I can put in a few loop cuts. I think that's about good. Clear seams. Bevel these. All right, that's not bad. And now I will grab all of these faces and extrude these out in their own respective directions. So something like this. I just want to extrude it out a tiny bit. So that would be good. And then here. So something like that. And I actually realized that there's a little too much space here. So I'm going to scale these on the Z so that it's not much space at all. And I'm going to put a loop cut here. Scale that in. Extrude this out. Okay, I want wireframe mode so we can delete any of these unused faces. And now we'll go back into this view. All right, so that looks good. Take all these, extrude them just a little bit. And some more. Scale it. And scale it on the Z so it's nice and uniform. Solid mode will work just fine. Okay. So now what I want to do is give all of these edges some bevels. And I feel like if I wanted to do that, I messed up a little bit. So first thing I should probably do is reduce this bevel here. So the way I'll do that is scale. So scale in one axis. So I'll scale on the Y and then we'll rotate it on the Z. And push it out this way until everything's aligned. Alright, that's better. And now what I'll do is inset these all just a tiny bit. Delete these side faces. And we'll slide these edges in until they touch the center of the column. Alright, that looks better already. I just want to make sure we're still recording. Okay. Alright. So now I'm going to go ahead and make these panels again. So extrude, extrude scale, scale in the Z. That looks pretty good. So now that we insetted first before we extruded, it should be much easier to do these bevels and we won't get any weird shading. So that's always good. And it's not perfect. Okay, so the problem is we don't want these edges selected. That's the problem. Alright, that looks okay. So now we can bevel perfectly. That looks much better. And I'll just go ahead and merge by distance, and that will get rid of the 18 vertices that we wanted to get rid of. And we'll select all of these again. And now, because we want that really fine curve. So one bevel basically won't cut it, so we need to do it twice. And also I should probably make sure that the scale is okay. I don't think it really mattered for that first bevel, but here it definitely will. So I had to go ahead and fix the scale really quickly. I think all the edges that we don't want are deselected. Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and bevel one more time. That looks pretty good. So now we'll just merge everything. This will probably take a little while because there's a lot to merge. And somehow I messed up here. So let's redo that. All right. So only a couple more to go. Making sure I did all the ones below. All right, so not too bad. And now we have the good starting shape of our column. So pretty nice. Wasn't too hard. And at this point, we're going to add in some of the cooler details. So let me see. All right, so I'm going to add in a cube, reset the transform, scale it down, duplicate it, scale it in, make a copy of that, and now I will use this. All right, so the mirror modifier is on this, so whatever I do to one side will duplicate over. Okay. So I'm going to extrude scale this in just a little bit. And I want to merge these at center and merge these at center. Scale this on the Z so that it's nice in line, and that as well. Now I will go ahead and extrude that out. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this yet. So I think I'll bevel this like quite a bit. Maybe like that. Merge everything by distance. Which I'm not sure why it's not merging because, okay, there we go. And I want to put some loop cuts in these. And I want to make a shape like that. Doesn't have to be perfect on both sides because obviously I can't get it to be exactly symmetrical. But something symmetrical like will do. I'll bevel this. Okay, so we'll merge those at last. And these at last. And these faces are wrong, so I'll go in and delete these. Okay, I'm not sure that looks any better, but it will do for now. I'll bevel this and bevel this. All right, there we go. So it looks okay so far for what I'm trying to do. At least I think it does. Next up, I'm going to mark seams here. Make a copy of that. We don't need either of those faces. Alright, so now we have a cool design there. So I'm still trying to come up with a cool design in my head as I work on this, which is a little bit tricky. But what I think I can do is add in some cool shapes along the sides, like so. I will duplicate it first, drag it out that way, and then add this in. Give it a bevel and bevels on either side. Alright, so something like that. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to scale this in on both sides, push it out, and Control B to bevel one more time. Alright, so that's the final design that we get from that. I think it looks pretty okay. Alright, so now I'm going to put a bevel in here, or a loop cut I should say. I can scale it like this. Deselect all of those, which I probably should have done in wireframe. Control B, merge vertices by distance, which somehow didn't remove any. Let's do it this way. Merge at center. Okay, there we go. Scale it like so. And we can go ahead and drag that down. And then I will put bevels here. All right, that looks pretty good. Time to duplicate this cube that I knew we would have to use at least a couple times. And I'll throw it in here. And I'll go ahead and bevel it as well. All right, I think that looks pretty okay. At this point, at least. I'm gonna take another one of these and join it in. Delete the back faces. Slide in this face. And slide out this face. All right, I like the look of that. So we're working pretty quickly here. Just kind of doing things, hoping it looks okay. So at this point, you could extrude scale this. We wouldn't need either one of those. So I can push this out and slide this down. And this might get a little tricky, but what I'm going to try to do is subdivide and subdivide. And grab that point. Slide it this way. Delete this face. And let's see if we can subdivide this one more time. Okay, we can. So I'll drag this in. Actually, we wouldn't need that at all. So I can fill these. Fill that. Okay, and I guess that could work. Then I'll take this, extrude it out. And now let's put in some quick bevels. All right, there we go. Looking pretty good so far. I'll slide this out, bring these up, and extrude in. Put in some bevels. Alright, I think that looks good so far. I'm going to take these points and drag them out. Put in another loop cut, go into edge select mode, edge slide. For some reason that's not working. Edge select mode, edge slide. There we go. Try one more time. Alright, so just like that. Go ahead and extrude this out. Bevel the corners like usual. And I'll bevel these. And I want to make a little cut in this towards the top. So go ahead and subdivide this. Merge that here. Slide it to the depth of the cut that I want. I'll go ahead and merge this at center. And we'll just slide this to the depth of the cut. And I'll try to get this to line up well. It's going to be a little bit tricky. But that seems to be okay. And we'll slide this edge up. Go into face select and extrude this down. Delete that. And this. Alright, so that's pretty much what I wanted. Took a little while to get there, but Now that we have it, it's okay. Merge at last. Merge at last. And I'm just trying to get rid of all of the verts that we don't need. That makes the shading a little bit weird. Maybe I could just dissolve that vertice. Alright, and that seems to fix the problem for now. I can go back in later and fully correct it, but for now that works. Alright, so now I'll grab this again, join it in, the rest, scale it down, and drag it up. And we're going to put in this object here to fill in this space. And so maybe what I want to do is something like this. So now I'll only select this, P to separate by selection. Delete the faces we don't want to see. And I'm just going to bevel everything else. Alright, so it's already looking pretty good so far, even though I haven't been working on it for too long yet. But I think I'm going to end this video here because we've already gotten a lot done, and I will continue it in the next video. So that way I don't get tired of working on it and mess up or whatever, because we need to make sure this looks pretty good. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed these videos and you want to see more. And thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time.